Find the volume of the solid that lies within both the cylinder, x squared plus y squared is equal to 1, and the sphere, x squared plus y squared plus z squared is equal to 4. Let's begin by graphing the solid, and we'll start with the cylinder, x squared plus y squared is 1, which is a unit circle in the xy plane, extended in the direction of z. And we also have a sphere radius 2, and we're looking for the volume of the solid that is inside both of these surfaces. So it looks like our sphere is going to chop this cylinder off and become the ceiling function. The cylinder would keep going, but the sphere now becomes the top. And similarly down here, the sphere becomes the bottom. It's tremendously helpful for me to get a graph that doesn't have any of these unnecessary pieces. So I'm going to delete anything that doesn't appear to be useful anymore. All of that was outside the cylinder, and we want everything that lies within both. So this is that ceiling coming from the sphere, and we've got a floor section down here from the sphere as well. And now this is the solid whose volume we're looking for. Now remember, we can find the volume using a triple integral if the integrand is equal to positive 1. And we're also going to use cylindrical coordinates in order to determine this triple integral. So let's go ahead and convert our cylinder equation to being r squared is equal to 1, substituting in r squared for x squared plus y squared. And similarly for the sphere equation, let's plug in r squared again. So now we have r squared plus z squared. Remember, with cylindrical coordinates, we don't plug in anything for z. Now it's time to consider our limits of integration and build our integrand. Let's start by looking at our dv quantity here. Remember, dv is going to be picking up a factor of r, and then we need to decide, are we going to be integrating with respect to z first, with respect to r first, with respect to theta first? And in order to make that determination, we're going to consider a small polar rectangular cylinder floating within this 3D solid. And let's first consider the possibility of integrating with respect to z first. But if we integrate with respect to z first, we see that we would have a lower limit that is the sphere, but the upper limit would be the sphere also. And if we have the same lower and upper limits on an integral, when we plug those limits into the antiderivative and subtract, it would subtract to being 0, which of course is not the volume. But this actually is a candidate for doubling because of the fact that our integrand here is positive 1, and the output of this integral is going to be a volume. We can see that the volume above the xy plane and the volume below the xy plane are going to be the same. So what we can do is find the volume above the xy plane and then say that the total volume is going to be twice the volume that we're going to call V1. Now, if we think about it from this perspective, then we can integrate with respect to z first. We'd have a lower limit that is the z is equal to 0 xy plane, and an upper limit that is the sphere. Now we'd need to solve that sphere equation for z, getting that z is equal to plus or minus square roots 4 minus r squared. But because we're looking at the top portion of the sphere, we know that z is positive. Look at only the positive radical here as the upper limit for z. So let's go ahead and start writing this triple integral that's going to represent this V1 above the xy plane volume. The integrand is going to be 1. We pick up a factor of r. We've decided to integrate with respect to z first. And now let's consider integrating with respect to r next. Now we do have the option of projecting this solid into the xy plane in order to be able to determine the limits on r and the limits on theta. But as we get more comfortable with this, we can actually stay in that 3D drawing. We see that when we've integrated with respect to z first, we are adding up those polar rectangles vertically, which gives us the volume of a cylinder. And then when we go with respect to r next, we're going to float that cylinder forward and back to then add up those volumes and get the volume of more of a plate. And when our little cylindrical band is at its lowest extreme, the value of r is 0, and when that band is at its highest extreme, the value of r is 1. So our r limits would be from 0 to 1. In the third iteration, we'll integrate with respect to theta, and so in our 3D drawing, we're going to envision taking this plate and swinging it starting from the theta is equal to 0 position and going all the way around the circle to sweep that plate all the way through the solid, and we land at a theta value 2 pi for the upper limit. So we'll be going from 0 to 2 pi in our theta iteration. So now this first iteration is going to be the integral from 0 to rad 4 minus r squared, r dz. And with respect to z, r is being held constant, so this antiderivative is just r times z. And these limits of integration are z limits that are going to be plugged in for z because we integrated with respect to z. So we can plug our upper limit into the antiderivative and the lower limit to get r times this radical 4 minus r squared, which then becomes the integrand for the second iteration. So this second iteration is the integral from 0 to 1, and we're integrating with respect to r. And this can be integrated using u substitution, where u is equal to 4 minus r squared, and du will be negative 2r dr. So we need a negative 2 in here to create the du, and a negative 1/2 outside to fix it. So let's substitute in for u now, and we drop our r limits and have the integral of u to the 1/2 du. So we get this antiderivative, and then simplify. And when we convert back to r, we can bring back our r limits and simplify. And this constant becomes the integrand for our third iteration, which is the integral from 0 to 2 pi. And the antiderivative is just that constant times theta. Now remember, all of this was to determine the volume V1. And now the total volume is going to be 2 times the volume of that upper half. And so the final answer is now 4 pi times 8/3 minus rad 3.